How's it going, everybody? It's Sean here, and I am back today to give you guys a review of the Concepts and New Balance 1906U in this Hours and Days collaboration. Let's rewind back to 2012. Concepts and New Balance released a collaboration called Seal, designing a special edition New Balance 999. And that's the very first shoe that really caught my eye when it comes to New Balance. Prior to that, I was pretty much strictly a Nike and Jordan guy, but for some reason there was something about that silhouette and the colorway that really intrigued me, and I went out of my way to actually purchase that pair, and I still have it in my collection today. Fast forward to earlier this month, Concepts and New Balance would reconnect, releasing this 1906 inspired by that original Seal collaboration. So this shoe released on August 2nd, and they retailed for a price of $175 US, which is approximately $240 Canadian converted. The style code for this shoe is M1906NCS, and it's really no surprise that they're working together on this 1906 silhouette, which is arguably the most popular model right now when it comes to New Balance. So based off of the shoe, this is the 1906U silhouette, which is a slight tweak on the classic 1906R, with a bit more complex paneling on the top of the shoe, and you'll see throughout this review there's just more panels and more overlays all throughout. One thing I found strange though is that while the shoe actually says 1906U on it, the label on the box says 1906N. So for anyone that's actually tapped into the brand or knows any better, let me know in the comment section down below, is it 1906U or 1906N? What's the difference, and why do they have a different letter on the box label versus the shoe itself? So unfortunately, these don't come in a special edition box or a special edition packaging. This is just your typical gray-based New Balance general release box. And like I mentioned earlier, the label on the box itself, it says 1906N. So as far as the shoe goes, diving right into it, the base layer of the sneaker is constructed out of a very soft white colored mesh. Right above this, holding the laces, we have this tan colored synthetic leather with a New Balance N logo debossed in the center. Overlaid on the lateral side, we have a debossed light brown or tan colored genuine suede, and then covering the medial side, we have this synthetic textured overlay which has a bit of a rubberized feel to it, and we have these perforations found on the edge of the toe box. Underneath this, we have a genuine beige colored suede, and this wraps around the lateral edge of the toe box, connecting to the top where the bottom two eyelets are. And then moving downwards, the middle two eyelets, this is done in this tan color, and it's covered in a layer of reflective 3M on the top. This extends downwards through the New Balance N logo, and this is what New Balance calls their N-lock technology. So basically, when you tighten up the laces, you're pulling these straps inwards, giving you more lockdown and support around the midfoot area of the sneaker. When you compare this to the medial side, so both the two eyelets and the New Balance N logo, this is done in a bright blue color instead. Next to this, we have that genuine suede covering the top three eyelets, and then underneath the New Balance N logo, we have this brown reflective panel which loops towards the heel of the shoe, and on the lateral side we have 1906U branding. Beneath this, we have a matte blue colored TPU heel cup which gives you structure and support around the back end of the sneaker. In the middle we have NB branding, and then on the top we have 3 strips of reflective silver 3M. For the laces, this pair comes with 2 different lace options. The standard lace that they come with are these chunky oval shaped laces, but they also come with a secondary flat style lace, which is done in more of an olive colored tone. Underneath this, the tongue is covered in this olive colored mesh, but we have a large Y-shaped synthetic nubuck layer with NB branding debossed on the top. The interior of the shoe is lined in mesh, and this collar is decently padded, not too stuffed and not too thin either. And then for the insoles, these come with a decently padded foam lined insole, and paying homage to the Seal 999s, we have these topographical maps printed on the top of the insoles, and this is found on both feet. So the upper of this 1906 sits atop this foam midsole, which is crafted using a mix of Absorb and Activa Light. So we have this olive colored hit on the lateral forefoot, and then underneath this is painted in more of an off-white color, but it's painted in this tan color on the heel. In addition, we have Absorb SBS and Energy technology, and this is visible with these gel-like pillars found on the lateral heel, which helps with impact protection and shock absorption. And then finally, for the outsole of the sneaker, this is your classic 1906 outsole, but it's all done in this blue colored rubber. So we have this diamond shaped traction pattern along with these grooves to give you added flexibility, and underneath the rubber in the middle, we have a matte blue colored TPU shank plate, which is what New Balance calls their stability web technology, and this is there to help with torsional rigidity and midfoot support. So that breaks down the look and the construction of this pair. And for those wondering about how these fit, so I find that the 1906U, generally speaking, fits a bit more roomy than a typical 1906R. So in my case, I'm a true size 10, slightly on the wider side, and I usually wear a size 10 in most 1906Rs, but for this model, like I said, it is a little bit roomier. So I feel like in a perfect world, a 9.75, if it existed, would have been perfect. The 9.5, while it fits, it's a little bit snug, and I feel like in certain areas of the toe box, my toes are almost hitting the edge of the shoe, but the width of the shoe is fine. But whereas if I went true to size, I feel like there'd be a little bit too much room lengthwise, giving it more of a sloppy fit. So I feel like if you're someone that's in between sizes, I would go down to the smaller size for this shoe, but I wouldn't necessarily recommend you guys to go a complete half size down if you're someone that finds that the typical 1906R fits you spot on. So long story short, whatever size you normally wear for the 1906R, if that fits you a little bit roomy, then you could probably go a half size smaller. But if you don't mind the extra length in the shoe, then I wouldn't risk it necessarily and just stick with your normal size. Moving on to the comfort of this shoe, these feel pretty much like any other 1906, so in my opinion, it's an extremely comfortable sneaker. It feels extremely balanced in that there's some level of plushness to it, but it gives you a lot of support at the same time. It's not necessarily going to be as comfortable, for example, as a 993 or a 990 V4 or a V6, but it's completely subjective. I still think even though this is not a made in USA or made in UK model, it's still a very comfortable sneaker, one that I can wear for many hours within a day. And considering the price point that you're paying, it's a model that I wouldn't hesitate bringing with me on vacation, for example, and walking through cities or through Disney World, for example, for days or weeks on end. Finally, in terms of the quality and craftsmanship, so first off, the material quality was actually a pleasant surprise. I'm so used to the 1906 utilizing pretty much all synthetic materials, so the fact that they actually gave us genuine suedes on this shoe, this was a nice surprise. The overall build of the shoe though, it was fine. There were some minor issues with some long threads that I had to just cut down myself, but other than that, I thought the paint job was good, the panels were consistent between both feet, so I was pretty pleased with how these turned out in person. So with all of that out of the way now, let's toss these on feet, I'll lace them up, and I'll show you guys how these look. Like I mentioned from the start, the Seal Concepts 999 is really the New Balance shoe that kicked it off for me. So to see them pay homage to that shoe without necessarily bringing back the exact shoe, I think it's a great way to respect the OGs without necessarily upsetting old New Balance heads who prefer those older shoes to stay in the past. Though for me, I'm completely on board for them to bring back that original 999. That's one of those silhouettes that I'm eagerly waiting for New Balance to bring back. But in the meantime, this 1906 is a great way to pay homage to it. And I think the infusion of these green hits allows it to stand out on its own at the same time, while still paying respect to those legendary older releases. So let me know in the comment section down below, what do you guys think about this Hours and Days Concepts New Balance 1906U? For anyone watching, did you also pick up a pair of these on the release date? I saw that around maybe size 10.5 and smaller, those were sitting on their website for quite a few hours, and then suddenly they just disappeared. So I don't know if that's a true, genuine sellout, or if Concepts or New Balance decide to make a call and just pull the plug. But safe to say, for most sizes, these were pretty obtainable if you tried on the release date. As usual though, if you guys enjoyed this review, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. You can follow me on Instagram at esco8. Check me out on X at sean.go spelled out, and visit my website at seango.ca. So thanks everyone for watching, hopefully you guys enjoy this review, and I'll catch all of you in my next video.